Hello everyone, and welcome to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Care Network. I'm Dean, the host of the N.A.R.C.N Network, and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 16 in the Unmasking the Narcissist series, and the title of episode 16 is The Narcissistic Victims Perspective. So in this episode we're just going to be talking about some things from the perspective of the narcissistic victim and some of the ways that you as narcissistic victims may feel and whether or not these are normal things, or whether or not it's even okay to feel some of the things that you feel, because when we go through narcissistic abuse you can feel a very wide range of different emotions related to that, and I think that as a large part most of the things that we experience when we've had some type of narcissistic abuse is completely normal, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. So let's go right into it here and just say, like, when you've had some type of abuse from a narcissist, whatever it is, victims feel many different ways. I know that with my narcissists, I was quite upset with them. I can't really say necessarily that I may have been overwhelmingly angry with these individuals, because for myself, having studied psychology when I was younger, I did have some already good ideas about how narcissists behave. Although I've done most of my study work over the past 2 years to really gain a much better understanding of narcissism and NPD disorder, and this has helped me greatly in understanding what I've gone through with any narcissist in my life over the past little while, because though I talk about a certain individual in the very early videos in my N.A.R.C.N network, I've actually had more than one narcissist in my life over the past 10 years. And having an understanding, or actually having a scientific understanding of narcissism, has helped me greatly to understand what might be going on with those narcissists that I was dealing with. But that being said, we can all feel a really wide array of different emotions when it comes to this. Anger, being upset with ourselves for letting a narcissist into our lives, thinking to ourselves, how could we be so stupid to have dealt with this person? How could we not see what was going on with them? But we forget sometimes that narcissists are incredibly prolific at what they do when they're trying to gain victims and gain appliances, and those victims and appliances, once you're in the fuel matrix of the narcissist, they will do whatever it takes to keep you wrapped up with them and to keep you as a fuel source to them, and they will paint a picture of perfection with you in some certain ways. Of course, as we know with narcissists, that vision of perfection is usually not very long lasting, and eventually you will be put into some type of devaluation phase with them, and you'll start to see perhaps what you might be dealing with. But by the time that happens, usually very often, the narcissist has trained you in a way where you've become addicted to them, and just dealing with them at that particular point becomes like almost like coming off of a really hardcore drug. Breaking away from a narcissist has been compared at some points, by some victims to like trying to get over a drug habit like cocaine or heroin or something like this, because they put you in such a state where you're high all the time on them, only to bring you down to the bottom and then jack you up again in a high. And it's dealing with a narcissist is completely up and down all the time, and this is the way that they addict themselves. This is the way that they addict you to them, and cause you to actually become almost like completely stuck to them in a way where it's very hard to even break away sometimes for a lot of victims. So it's perfectly normal to feel a whole array of emotions: sadness, anger, whatever it is that's going on with your particular narcissist. Almost all victims feel this way. If I can add anything here, don't feel that you were stupid for getting involved with a narcissist. You probably didn't know that they were a narcissist because they hid it from you very well. So it's really not your fault. Whatever went on with that narcissist, you probably just, you probably didn't have a lot of responsibility in making them the way that they particularly are, because narcissists are formed usually when they're young or in their formative years. and they become that way through time, through abuse and neglect and all kinds of different things make a narcissist, including genetics and all kinds of other stuff that go in there. So you may have had nothing really at all to do with that. That's not to say that you yourself perhaps haven't affected the narcissist in some adverse way, because as we know with narcissists, when we give them back some of their own shit, narcissists always at some particular time experience some type of narcissistic injury from this, because they're very fragile people in the first place. They may present to you as being very strong and very boisterous and upfront and looking like they're in control all the time and stuff, but that's really not necessarily what's going on in all narcissist brains. Some higher levels and greater levels and ultras may have a great capacity to demonstrate being in charge and having just like nothing that can break them as far as their characters or whatever. But very often narcissists are very fragile by their nature, and you can upset them and give them a narcissistic injury of some emotional nature very easily when you're dealing with them. So whatever's gone on with the narcissist, we have to remember that you probably weren't greatly responsible for making them the narcissist that they are. That went on at some other time in life, and you may be affecting them in the current state in their dealings with you, but you probably didn't make them what they are at that point, so you don't need to feel anything related to that as far as responsibility, unless you yourself are a narcissist as well too, dealing with another narcissist, which, as we've talked about in previous episodes, does happen as well too. But for the most part, if you're just a normal person dealing with narcissistic abuse, you probably weren't a great contributor to the way that narcissist is. So another thing that you might be dealing with here is, the inability to really get over your narcissist or to forgive them in some particular way. If you can't forgive your narcissist for what they've done, that's absolutely fine. There are plenty of people who can't forgive what a narcissist has done to them. They just can't. And if you can't do that, that's absolutely okay. There's nothing to say that you have to accept what they put on you and to agree with it and to be okay with it. The most important thing here is that you forgive yourself for whatever happened, and that you try to recover and get over whatever trauma you've endured with that narcissist, and just try to better your life in the best way that you can towards that narcissist. By the same comparison, if you can't forgive them and you constantly still feel angry about the narcissist, that's okay to have that emotion as well too. There's nothing to say that you can't stay angry at the narcissist. In some instances with people, continuing to be angry with the narcissist actually helps them stay away from that narcissist. So if this is beneficial to you to still feel angry, that's perfectly fine to be that way. I will say for myself, I don't think it's a healthy way to be, because you should try to recover and get yourself away from the anger related to that narcissist if you can. It will actually help you if you can break away from that and not continue to be angry with whatever's going on with that narcissist yourself. It will be beneficial if you can manage to find some way to shed that anger through therapy, through any type of after trauma help that you can get through a psychologist or psychological therapy, or just a therapist that deals with narcissistic events. Whatever way you can do that will really help you in the end, if you can if you can find a way to shed that anger, and also if you can actually find a way to forgive yourself, or even if you can find a way to forgive the narcissist for whatever it is that they did. You can forgive them. You don't have to deal with them again after that, but you can forgive them if you wish to. That will help most people get over a narcissistic trauma event. And again, within the confines of narcissism and my studies into narcissists, I myself did a lot of research to understand how the narcissist thinks, how they behave, and all this stuff. You, as a general victim, if you're interested in understanding this and how the narcissist works, that's great. You can find tons of information on my channel all about this. You can find tons of information on other narcissistic specialists' channel about this. But is it important that you understand the way the narcissists think? No. You don't need to understand that at all. This person has just done something traumatic to you, and what you need to do more than anything in life is get away from that person. Leave them behind. Don't deal with them anymore. Take them, put them on the side. Don't worry about what it is they've done to you. Worry about yourself. Worry about what you're dealing with yourself. Worry about how you get along in life and how you progress after this traumatic event. You don't need to worry about how the narcissist thinks. You don't need to know how the narcissist thinks unless that's important for you to understand that. I can tell you, if you can learn about the narcissist and learn why they are the way they are, it may help you get over that trauma in some particular way. Having a psychological understanding, even if it's basic, of why the narcissist has behaved the way that they have with you, can very much so help you get over a traumatic narcissistic event like this. So again, do you need to know why they are the way they are, or the way that they think? No, you don't. If you want to know that, go searching out this information. It could probably actually help you quite a bit. I know that it's definitely helped me in the research that I've done in dealing with my narcissists, to understand what I've been dealing with and understand how they behave. Again, this may help you out. So these are just some of the basic perspectives that victims have that I just wanted to discuss quickly with you guys. You know, the most important thing here is just to have a really good mindset. Understand that you probably weren't responsible for this narcissistic event that happened with you. This narcissist went after you because you were an awesome person. They saw a person that was giving. They saw a person that was empathic. They saw a person who wanted to put energy into a connection with them. They saw all of these things. They latched onto it, and they went with it, because this is what narcissists do. They pick out the cream of the crop of great people who have goodness in them and empathy, and who are caring, and then they take that person and then they just run them through the ringer, because that's what narcissists basically do. Again, that had nothing to do with you. The narcissist picked you because you were an awesome person, most likely, and that's why they actually chose you as a victim. So again, this was just some perspectives on the way narcissistic victims might think like this. Anybody out there, if you've got any commentary on this video, please, you know, leave a comment on the video and give me your thoughts on some stuff I may have left out here or missed, because I didn't cover a very wide array of things. They're just the basic things that we think about when it comes to the way that a narcissistic victim thinks. And feel free to comment if you have anything to say here. I welcome comments all the time on my channels. So I'm just going to say this has been episode 16. I hope you guys stay tuned for some other stuff coming up on the N.A.R.C.N network and also on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll catch you really, really soon with some new upcoming content.